If you're new to this channel, we're James and Sarah, also known as The Whole World or Nothing.
We used to be full-time backpackers, exploring the world and writing about our travels on our blog.
And then the world changed.
We got repatriated from Peru and found ourselves back in the UK at a loose end. So we decided to do a van conversion.
Make sure you hit subscribe now so you can join us in this series as we share the highs and many lows of converting an old Mercedes Sprinter panel van into our dream home on wheels.
For some reason, despite holding 3 university degrees and having been solely responsible for designing and installing our far more complicated electrical system, Sarah was having a hard time getting her head around our relatively straightforward water setup. So I knocked up an overview of how it would work and where each element would sit on the van, and we began unpacking the tanks we'd ordered to see exactly what we were working with, which immediately presented us with some problems. The fittings that these things are come with, these cat tanks, are just absolutely bonkers. Like the pipes that are coming out of them are all different kinds of shapes and sizes, and none of them are the ones that I want them to be. So it's taken a little bit of working out to figure out exactly how we're going to design our wastewater system, really. What are you building?
Building a little frame for the freshwater tank to sit on, because it sits a bit low, doesn't it? So I'm just building a little frame for it to sit on. I'm putting a little cradle around the side because it's a tiny bit smaller than that space, so it like rattles a bit. So I'm lifting it up and putting like a little rail, not a rail.
Kind of.
Yeah, like a wooden rail around it so that it sits in its place. It was a super simple design that we built really quickly and just popped the tank in. That's all ratcheted in, nice and secure then. We gave it a wash out just because it's a freshwater tank, just to make sure there wasn't any like plastic bits inside it or anything from when the hoses had been fitted onto the ends there or anything. So that bit is all ready to go. We're just gonna get the pump and the accumulator and the filter fastened onto that wall there now.
Yeah, we've got all the bits, just putting together the accumulator and the pump and the filter. I actually had it set up the wrong way around. Obviously there's an inlet and an outlet, and this is the inlet.
Oh, because ours is going that way and then coming back to the heater.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not really ideal for where we're positioning this water system. But it should still work. We're just going to have to pipe it round into the pump and then back through to the water heater rather than the other way around. So it will still work, it's just a bit more pipe work.
Okay. These shore flow elements are all designed to fit together, so are really easy to connect by hand. But because they have a designated inlet and outlet and have to be a certain way up, they can only be installed in one direction. So where have you got up to?
Where have we got up to? Well, this is in.
Woo!
Which is the accumulator, the filter and the water pump. I have also, what have I done? I can't even remember.
You drilled some holes in the floor?
I drilled some holes, some more holes. I've put some pipes through those holes. This is pretty much, the water heater is pretty much sorted. I just need to take a inlet pipe into it and an outlet pipe out of it, but everything else that needs to be done on the plumbing side of it is done. Where else have we got to? Oh yeah, I found out that I've probably not ordered enough of this piping. I ordered 7 metres, I thought that would be ample, but actually it turns out it might not be. We'll have to see. So the 2 holes that we've drilled in the floor today, one is for the drain pipe, something like that, and then the other one is just like a little I don't know, does it have vapour coming out of it? It comes out of the hot water bit anyway that goes from the water heater. Do you know what it's for? No idea. It says in the instructions to put it in and put it through the floor, so I'll put it in and put it through the floor. The water heater is also wired in now as well, so that's the grey cable that goes to the control, the temperature control, and then we've got the positive and the negative that goes to the battery, so they're going up there and then along there, and the grey one goes into the back of the controller just there, and then the red and the negative
I just need to finish pinning up. How's it going in the plumbing department this morning?
It is going fine. Pretty much got the cold water hooked up. I think there actually might be enough pipe, which was a little bit of concern. Because I've run it all the way through to the front to pretty much to where it's going, and it seems like it fits. Okay. If we need any more, there's only going to be a tiny bit. Okay. Got the water boiler hooked up as well. So the hot water pipe is also run down to the front of the van to where it's going. Nice. And I am just clipping everything up now so that it doesn't the pipes don't rattle about and shake loose and all that kind of business whilst we're travelling. That's about it.
Whoa. So all this in the back end is going to be done soon?
Yeah, it will. We'd already done all the prep work for the Truma boiler install, so finishing it off was as simple as connecting the gas pipe and putting a cold water inlet and a hot water outlet on.
It looks great, no?
It's getting there. We're just waiting on one piece.
What's that?
The water tank's going to be pretty much done. All we need now, well, we don't actually need it. It's not a requirement for filling the tank, but it's the air hose that goes between this and the filler cap. And I think all that does means that the tank doesn't squash up like a water bottle when you suck on it, because it lets the air out as well.
Okay, so it's just another little pipe in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool, but that's the fill on.
The fill is on, yeah. Looks like it's at a decent angle as well.
Yeah, it does.
Because you want it sloping downhill, obviously.
Yeah.
I think ideally it would probably be a little bit higher. But, you work with what you got.
Okay, so we've already built this unit, I don't know, months ago. And we put it up and then we took it back down because we realised we needed to have the shower put in before doing that. So yeah, we are going to attempt to put it back together again. Can you remember how it goes?
Absolutely not. We've done so much in between that you just forget how to do the stuff that you've done previously. So I'm sure we'll figure it out.
As you can see, this is a completely different design to our other cabinets, so it was a case of just figuring out where each upright went and screwing it all into place. Well, it's in. We figured it out. Looks alright.
Looks alright. It's pretty sturdy. You say we figured it out, we fixed it. It was
we had to nibble some bits off.
It was a bit all over the place, but I think that was just because we built this frame, this structure, before we built all the walls or anything else. Yeah. So it's like a bit of a illogical way to do it, but yeah, it's fine.
At least it was too big rather than too small.
This is true.
So now we are just going to get on with putting the ply sides on, and it'll look a little bit more like the sink unit that it is going to.
We double checked that our sink would fit in the cabinet and then installed cladding down the side of it.
Have you got it figured out?
Of course I have. I've always got it figured out until it goes wrong.
I've just had a meltdown, I can't cope with it anymore.
Well, you spent 2 hours just like running around the van, measuring stuff wrongly and going absolutely mental. So
go and explain what we're trying to do.
We're trying to figure out where to drill the drain for our shower.
We thought we'd worked it out, but we thought we'd worked it out before we even started building the shower.
Yeah, so the complication is that we've gone for an underslung grey water tank, and the grey water tank sits directly below where both of our water appliances are, so the sink and the shower. But we don't want the drains to go directly above the tank because there's not a lot of space above the tank, meaning the pipework that we're putting down there probably won't fit, so they're going to have to come out either side rather than directly on top of it. But that means that there's really kind of a tight space, or a very small allowance for a mistake really, for where we put the drains. So it's taken a bit of figuring out. I think we've got the first one pretty much done. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It's just hard to, like, obviously you can see inside the van where is a good place to put it, and then you can see underneath the van where is a good place to put it, but then matching those two spaces up is just, it's not impossible, but it's just really hard to do, because, like, do you know, like, what do you measure it from? Where do you measure it? You can't just blindly drill a hole, like, either from the top.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
It goes in a bad place at the bottom. The same way, if you drill it from the bottom and it goes in a bad place at the top.
We're going to have to take a leap of faith at some stage though, so let's do it.
Okay. We can work with that.
Alright?
Yeah, it's fine. Are you enjoying the plumbing and the fact that we thought we had it all figured out how to do everything and we actually don't?
Of course. This is what we do with everything, absolutely every step of it, whether it's putting a door handle on, a hinge, to doing the plumbing. Always plan it, or think we've planned it, and then find out that what we planned is completely wrong. So yeah, loving it as usual.
We have got, let me see behind you. There's not actually much plumbing stuff over there.
Not over there, no, it's all in a bag down here, but we've got every fixture and fitting and pipe and connection that you can possibly find in city plumbing and beyond, B&Q, Screwfix, and still not the right ones, so we're going to go out and get some more. A quick trip to the shops, and it turned out that the new connector we bought still didn't fit. Until...
Why so now then?
Well, I got so furious with it that I just shoved it really hard and it went on. The inner bit goes on, but the outer bit that actually tightens it on, and you screw to tighten it on, won't go on. However, there's a little lip on the inside that's, I think, is what's stopping it from going on. So, a new idea. I'm going to adapt this. I'm going to cut that lip off, try and shove it on and just use some brute force and anger to fix this problem.
I was just under the van changing the trap because we decided we were going to put a different one on. And I heard him shouting, "Have it! Have it!"
It fits,
It
it
wasn't that high
works.
pitch. You done it?
It works, it goes on. It might not be a perfect solution, but I literally shaved maybe a millimetre off the inside of that, which allows it to slip on nicely. And then this fits over the end, and yeah, you can screw it on. That is not coming off. No way, no how. So we're using it.
So this is the connector that we've just been working with to get onto the pipe that is going to go into the waste tank, and this is where the elbow where it's going to come through the floor from the sink. There's really not a lot of space at all, so as you can see there's hardly any pipe in there. We're just trying to get it at the right length so that we know where to drill the hole through the floor for the sink. Back inside the van, this is where the sink waste is coming down. So this is a 40mm pipe, which is what came with the sink as standard. So we're putting a 40 to 32mm reducer on it, and then just some rigid pipe, which is the bit that's going to go through the floor, and that will join up with that elbow underneath to go directly into the waste tank, which is just below here. Okay, so we've scrapped using this trap that we were going to use in favour of using this piece of flexi pipe that you can also make into a trap, because, well, I'll show you why under the van. It's probably easier to explain under there. This is the gap that we're working with at this end of the tank. That's the shower drain coming through there, which is quite close to the tank. Obviously we could have probably added a few centimetres more this way, but the shower wall is literally like here, so we didn't really have much choice on where that where that went, and we've also just pushed this way a little bit to give a little bit more room down the other end, which has meant, let me get this trap, that this trap, well, it doesn't fit now we've moved the tank over anyway. It did before, but it meant that that was literally going to have to go like straight into the tank, which wasn't a great option. So we're going to use this piece of flexi pipe, like I say. It's difficult to do this with one hand. So that's going to go into there, and basically you can create a U-bend in it so that that creates your trap, and then we're just going to have it so that this end of it goes straight into that corner there, into the top of the waste tank, instead of running it all along there into the other end, like I say. And this is how it's going to be on the other end. As you can see, we've needed a lot more room for these connectors. There is a piece of pipe in there, it's just so small that you can't see it, and we're just figuring out now to make sure that we get the hole straight at the top of that pipe so it goes down straight into the 90-degree elbow bend. Doesn't matter how many times we do this, I still get so nervous. There we go. There we go. Hole for the sink waste pipe is done. We test assembled everything to make sure it all fit together properly. Just filled the shower hole with silicone then. Just made a nice seal all around the inside of that. So we'll just wait for that to dry. Haven't put any silicone in the sink waste pipe hole because it's just a pipe that's going straight through the floor, so it's not at risk of really getting any water in between the layers of the flooring. And also we did this a much tighter fit so that the pipe just slots straight through, so if you put anything in there it's not really going to fit. Obviously have treated the raw metal edges with hammerite though on the underside to stop that from rusting.
The tank that we've got doesn't have an escape hatch or a drainage hatch, which is like quite a large hole where you can just kind of get in and clean it. Because it's our grey water tank, we just didn't think that we needed one, and it was kind of like 30 quid or something like that to get it put on. So when we just drilled that hole, we were hoping that the plastic circle that we cut out didn't go inside, because otherwise that could block the outlet when we were wanting to actually drain it. However, it stayed in the hole saw, which is good. So we don't have to go fishing about and trying to break it out or anything like that. So now we've got a clean hole, just going to tidy it up with a little bit of filing. We can just wash that out, I think, just chuck a bit of water in there, swirl it around and then get all the plastic bits out. But then that's good for the pipe to go into. Absolutely.
And if we do think we need to put a drainage hatch, not a drainage hatch, like a cleaning hatch right in the top, we can do it.
We can always add one on later, yeah.
Yeah. Fits?
It fits. Perfect.
Woo! Bang a bit of silicone on that then, great. What are you doing?
I can see my breath. That is never a good sign.
Right, come on. What are we doing today? Are we doing it?
I think we're just finishing all the pipe work and stuff that we started over the past couple of days. So we're putting on the grey water tank, fixing that on underneath. We're going to poke both drains through, fix them onto the tank, see where we are then. So
are we going to have running water or not?
Probably not.
What? No, Jay, we should try to do it.
I'm just managing your expectations. I know how these things tend to go. First up, we installed the bathroom drain, siliconing it into place from above and setting it to dry using an electric fan heater because it was so cold, before turning our attentions to the grey water tank.
Here it is, the wastewater tank. So this is 50 litres. This is the end where the sink waste is going in, and at the bottom There is the outlet tap. This is the fill gauge. Then at this side we've got where the shower waste is going into. Okay, so how the wastewater tank is fixing on is with these little hooks. So one goes in there, that was a hole that was already there in the van, and then this one that you can see that's been painted and treated to stop the rust is the other one that it goes into. So that's a hole that we put in ourselves, and then this bracket is what fixes onto it as a cradle and holds the tank underneath it and bolts onto these through some holes in the ends of the brackets just there. That's a better look at what the brackets look like. These didn't come treated, so we had to paint these as well. What's this stuff called, Jay, that we painted them with?
I don't know, some kind of wax oil paint that doesn't dry.
It's like specific for under vehicle paint, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So it's rust proof, it doesn't chip, and it's flexible as well. So hopefully it's you know, decent stuff to have painted it with. It's
like a rubberised paint, isn't it?
Yeah, you could just paint it with hammerite, but I guess the problem with hammerite is that there's a potential that it's going to chip.
As it turns out, wax oil definitely isn't a good thing to use for this. We recently discovered that the coating we put on ours has all come off, so probably best to use a rust-proof, chip-proof paint instead. This is the shower trap at the other end. So the flexible hose comes with this little, I don't know, clip that you can put around so that you can create your own U-bend to create your trap, and that's just going into the side of the tank there. We got the tank into position and attached the waste outlets, but then ran into some difficulties tightening the nuts thanks to a combination of the tight spaces they were in and the length of the bolts we were putting them onto, which inevitably meant another trip out to the shops.
That was very lucky, and I shall tell you for why. I just had a big slice of luck in Toolstation. And I will say this as well, Toolstation has been an excellent find for us. We only found it maybe about 2/3 through the build, but it's the best place to go for tools, equipment, anything that you need, in my experience. And what happened is I went in, I explained exactly what we need for the job, and he came up with a tool that probably would have worked. But whilst I was chatting to him about it, and he was showing me the tool because he went and got it, opened it up and got it out of the pack and all that, another customer came in and said, "What are you trying to do? What's it for?" And he knew exactly the tool that I needed, and he looked it up in a catalogue himself, and he said, "And it's £2 cheaper than that other one." So, so save yourself £2. The guy behind the till said, "You know you're in Yorkshire." And this is what we've ended up with. It's called a box spanner set. Apparently it's for working under sinks. So we said it was either going to be automotive or plumbing. And so yeah, box spanner set. It comes with a 13mm bit, which is the size of the nuts that we're using, and it's completely hollow inside. So hopefully that means that it should go all the way down. Okay. So they're going on all right now. Yeah, really simple job when you got the right tools. So this is how they look. You can see I've put 2 nuts on there. The first one was just a normal nut, and the second one is a nylock nut, which hopefully will stop it from coming loose at all when it's rattling off when we're driving. I didn't really know exactly how far to tighten them up, but I've just gone until there was a reasonable amount of resistance. Didn't want to tighten them too much because don't want the tank cracking or to squeeze it or anything like that. So I don't think it's going to drop off. It definitely can't move around. Gonna leave it there. And that's where we're going to leave it this week as well. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new around here, then why not hit that subscribe button too, and the little alarm bell next to it so you get notified every time we post a new video. Next week, we're installing our sink, getting the water system plumbed in and hooked up, and discovering that absolutely everything leaks. Catch you then.